The digital dollar could give the feds control of your money. Get the digital dollar report. Call 1-800-862-6970 and also receive a $1,000 credit from Priority Gold to protect your money. Or just go to digitaldollarreport.com.
Please note the information provided does not constitute financial or investment advice. This is Sid and Friends in the morning.
77 WABC.
It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine, that's your way. You always walk a step behind. So I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long. A beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings.
Wind Beneath My Wings, Bette Midler. This is a great song and a great movie. I cried this movie like I did during Brian's song in terms of endearment. When Barbara Hershey died at the end of this movie, I was a mess. Beaches. And I always liked Bette Midler. Bette and Barry Manilow pretty much started together. But it turns out she's an animal. She's just an absolute Democrat, loser, liberal, filthy animal. So the singing is great. She also made me cry in her movie Stella. I've always liked her, but now I don't like her. And now she really overstepped her boundaries because according to Politico last week, she wants Joe Biden to arrest with his new powers from the Supreme Court after the Trump ruling last week. She wants Biden to arrest all my friends in the House, all the guys I'll be spending a lot of time with in Milwaukee, including the great congressman out of Long Island, my good buddy Anthony D'Esposito. So, Ant, I have no idea how you felt about Bette Midler before, but she wants Joe Biden to arrest you. Any thoughts?
I think Bette Midler should stick to singing, beaches, and making people like you cry, and leave the politics and government to the adults.
It is funny, though, the overreaction from the Democrats. You know, and the Supreme Court, 6-3, did the right thing. He doesn't have absolute immunity, but he certainly deserves the amount of immunity they gave to him, and they go completely crazy, the Democrats. Now you can kill people like, Sotomayor. I mean, I'm sorry, I said this last week. I very rarely unload on Supreme Court justices. I say that for the politicians. But Sotomayor, that was embarrassing last week.
Yeah, there's been a lot of things that has been said over the last few days that are embarrassing. I think, you know, it started with the disaster of a debate, and they've just been imploding ever since. I mean, there's articles being written today. There was a couple released yesterday. They're already preparing for losses and the devastating effects that they're going to see on fundraising, and they're just trying to change course and blame it on someone else. But what the real issues are is, forget the bad debate. The Democrats were already losing because they're on the wrong side of every issue. They're on the wrong side of the border. They're on the wrong side of the economy. They're on the wrong side of foreign policy. And in this 118th Congress, it hasn't always been pretty. We've talked about this. There's been chaos. But you know what? At the end of the day, Republicans are fighting for the American people and for our allies, and that's what people care about. We're fighting to secure our border. We're trying to make sure that over more of the 10 million people that Joe Biden has already let into this country aren't going to cause harm to the American people. That's the work that we're doing. While Democrats, I'm not even sure what it is that they're focused on because they're not unified. They're all over the place, and now they're panicking and trying to say, well, we don't know what to do. We're not going to be able to raise money at the top of the ticket. When we all know listen, candidates throughout this country, especially the Democratic candidates, they do raise money. Why? Because they get dark money from people like George Soros and the rest of these lunatics who are peddling their progressive anti-America policy.
Yeah. They also got a ton of celebrity money, George Soros and George Clooney. They got a ton of money. But you say a ton of money, it took Joe Biden 2 fundraisers with the likes of Clooney, Obama, and Clinton to raise as much money as Trump did in one night down in Florida. But I do want to get to Congress because you guys are back today after another lengthy vacation, Tone. And so is it fair to say that much of the discussion in the People's House today will be about the aforementioned Joe Biden staying or stepping down?
Yeah, I think for the first time, I guess, or for very few times this Congress, the mainstream media has always tried to paint the Republicans as the chaos and the ones that aren't unified. And I think that we're seeing since last Thursday that the Democrats are completely imploding. I think Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries aren't sure what to say. They have pretty high-ranking members of their party. I mean, yesterday you had a couple of the ranking members of some of our committees flat out come out and say, listen, Joe Biden can't be on the ballot. I mean,
you had more than a couple. You had four senior House members, 2 of them from New York, stupid Jerry Nadler and Joe Morelli, combined now with the 5 House Democrats that stepped out last week. And now you've got 9, including 4 senior members, House Democrats, that want Joe Biden to step down. Are you surprised that many House Democrats, including senior members of those committees, stepped out and did that?
I am surprised. I mean, we're always criticized for people saying, well, the Democrats always stick together. Well, it's clear that they don't. Now it's a circular firing squad, and they're out to, pretty much go after their own. But I think what's important, and one of the things that I'm going to be, talking about when I get to Capitol Hill in a couple hours, especially when the press asks me, is that, this has been a cover-up from the Democrats all along. We know that Joe Biden didn't have the capability to be president of the United States. We know that he wasn't making the decisions. We realize that the people making the decisions for Joe Biden have failed the American people. And that's why he has been deemed, and not just by Republicans and conservatives, but by polls done throughout this country as one of the, if not the worst president this country has ever seen. And what's happening now is that the people who would normally come out and vote in the presidential election are probably getting fed up, and they're definitely not going to come out and vote for Joe Biden. And the polls showed it. The polls showed it before the debate, and the polls will show it after the debate. In places like New York, places like my district, where, again, we're outnumbered, Democrats outnumber us in my district by 70,000, across the county by 140,000. We're winning. Republicans are winning because we have good candidates, we have good leadership, and we're on the right side of the issues. And that's going to continue. We are going to win in places that we have historically not done well with President Trump at the top of the ticket. You
and Trump in the same boat there in Nassau County in your district, and I did see you post something on Facebook. I have to admit I did shed a tear. I try to stay away when I'm on vacation from a lot of the news. People text me stuff about politics. I don't even answer. But I did notice on your Facebook page there were pictures of the funeral for the police officer, that beautiful young lady who was killed by that drunk driver inside the nail salon in, I believe it was Suffolk County. Regardless, it was Long Island. So that was another very emotional day on Long Island. It feels like we just buried Jonathan Diller. Now you have this story.
Yeah, listen, it's terrible. When you have members of law enforcement who go to work every day and they get that uniform on, they pin their shield on their chest, and they go out to do the right thing for the people that they're serving and live out their oath. There's that inherent danger. But when you have a young, successful police officer who's just having some downtime, getting ready for a weekend with her loved ones and family, and her life is taken by, just such tragedy. And it's not just her, it's all those that were taken in that nail salon. It's just terrible. It's it's things that we don't want to see, and it really takes a moment, and I'm sure you would agree, especially after the weekend you had, that you really got to be thankful for the people in your life that you love and that you have.
That is well said, Anthony. And yes, 4 people did die that day. And you were a cop for over 2 decades, so you can certainly appreciate what that young lady did in her short life. This is Congressman Anthony D'Esposito on his way to Capitol Hill today. Congress is back. And then a week from today, you'll be with me. I'll be in Milwaukee. I'll be doing all 5 shows next week from the Republican National Convention. We will officially nominate Donald Trump as our presidential choice coming up next Thursday night. What do you expect from Milwaukee?
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think that it is, especially after the week that they're going to have in D.C. and across this country, trying to pick up the pieces of the mess that Joe Biden and the Democrats have made. I don't believe that we're going to have a solution or a resolution to their problem by the end of the week. And I think that the Republicans are going to go into this convention in Milwaukee on Sunday in a unified front, ready to nominate President Trump and hear who his vice president will be. And I think that it will be a perfect opportunity for Republicans throughout the country, especially those members of Congress who, again, over the last 16, 18 months, there's no question. There's been stories about what has looked like chaos. Perhaps we weren't all on the same page.
What do you mean look like chaos? When Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz are knocking down Kevin McCarthy's door, that's not perception. That was reality.
Yeah, and the American people saw that, and I think that this is an opportunity for them to see that their party is unified. We're unified throughout the country. We're going to stand together. We're going to cast our votes for those of us that are delegates for President Trump. And we're going to come out of that convention stronger, more unified than ever, and carry the message to the American people, the issues that matter, the stuff that people talk about. When you were with your family and friends this weekend on a well-deserved vacation, you sit around the dinner table, you sit around in the backyard, you talk about the stuff that matters most, why everything costs more, the craziness that's going on the southern border, the attacks on our law enforcement, the fact that the economy, where we're being held at, looking at as weak on a global scale. Obviously important to us, what's gone on in Israel and the fact that Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden and so many Democrats have completely undermined the state of Israel and Prime Minister Netanyahu. Those are the issues that we need to focus on. We need to make sure that Democrats don't try to steer us off course to issues that I'm not saying aren't important, but they aren't the most important issues to the voters. And that's where we were successful in Nassau County and on Long Island over the last 3 years. We stuck to the script. We knew what was important. Why? Because, you were kidding a few minutes ago, we had a break this week, but it wasn't a break that you weren't working. I was out there every single day, out in the community, talking to people, getting an understanding of what matters most, going to events, going to the Boy Scouts, the chambers, the Kiwanis, because that's where you hear what matters most to the people. And if you're not listening to them, well, then you're not going to be an effective legislator. And I think that we here in New York especially are, and I am confident that all of us that were elected in 2022 are going to be reelected, and I think that we have a really good chance to pick up some seats, not only in the 3rd, but upstate with Allison Esposito.
Oh, yes. We love Allison Esposito. Of course, she served as Lee Zeldin's lieutenant governor during his impressive run where he got edged out by Kathy Hochul. And she's also, like you, a former cop and a tough cop. So on the way out, I know you made mention of a couple of minutes ago, you don't think anything will be resolved this week. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But it's all said and done, Anthony. Do you think Joe Biden will be the Democrat nominee come August 29th?
I do. I think that he has made it his business over the last, 5 decades to monetize his position in power, whether it was a senator, whether it was vice president, now president of the United States. And I don't see his family or his inner circle allowing him to give that up.
And there's nothing these other people can do. It doesn't matter how many House Democrats, if I had $1 for every person that stops me and says, who runs this country, Barack Obama, I'm not even sure that's true. I think Barack certainly has a say, but I think sometimes people tend to overstate how much say he's got. But the point is, no matter what these people say, if Joe Biden does not want to step down, he ain't stepping down, right? That's it.
Absolutely. And the other thing that's important for us, and obviously you do a great job at it every single day, but we need to make sure that our voters, that the people who believe in the change that this country needs, that they don't get complacent by the chaos and the mess that the Democrats are creating. Because I've already heard it from people. I've been, Trump's got it. This is all. It's far from over. This election is far from done. We all know what can happen, what can go on. We need to make sure we stick to the script, stick to the issues, and get every single person out to vote. I mean, think about it. This week alone, we passed it through committee. I'm on the House Administration Committee. It was something that came through committee. It was announced a few months back at actually Mar-a-Lago by the Speaker Johnson and President Trump, just making sure that the people who vote in the election are American citizens. And the Democrats are already whipping against it. I mean, that tells you the story of this entire country right now. So we need to make sure that we keep unified, we keep on message, and we keep pounding the issues home that matter to the American people. And if we do that on election night, we are going to see victories all across this country, but specifically in New York, and we will be electing Donald Trump president of the United States again.
All right, baby. I love what I'm hearing. Again, like you said, though, Election Day, a little under 4 months away. That's a long time, 4 months. So like you said, don't be complacent. Go out there and make sure you are banging the message. Anthony D'Esposito, great job. Safe trip to D.C. today. And I will see you in Milwaukee coming up next week. Thank you so much.
I'll see you there, my friend. Be well.
You too. That's the great Congressman Anthony D'Esposito.
This is Greg Kelly for Priority Gold. What does it mean to be America's precious metals dealer? It means that you're in touch with the hearts and minds of those who love this country, value our freedom, and want to protect the future. Priority Gold is that precious metals dealer. They've helped thousands of Americans back their retirement with solid gold and silver. Call Priority Gold at 888-506-6439. Receive free shipping, free storage, a free investment guide, and one of the best purchase experiences in the industry. Call now or go to PriorityGold.com.